بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى. والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله. إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى. فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى. الذي يصلى النار الكبرى. الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to the 11th night, or the 11th part of our Muharram series by Sheikh Abbas Panju. We sincerely thank you for coming, because without you guys, events like this cannot happen. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much. Salawat. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Brother Abbas Rizvi to recite some Madhiyah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Can all the brothers please stand up and move as far forward possible, because there's not enough space at the back. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
This poem that I've written today is a conversation between Imam al-Hussein and his son, Hazrat Ali Akbar alayhi salam. Please recite aloud, Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
my vision, Akbar my son, Muhammad's reflection. You are the light to my vision, Akbar my son, Muhammad's reflection. How can I grant you the permission? You are the prophet in speech and in actions. Don't ask me for your martyrdom. What will I say to your dear mom? You are the light to my vision, Akbar my son, Muhammad's reflection. Your sister Ruqayya will miss you daily. 3 days hungry, my son, you are thirsty. From the battle, please do return safely. Layla is praying to the Lord. Save my son from the attacks of the swords. You are the light to my vision, Akbar my son, Muhammad's reflection. He went into the tents of Bani Hashim. Farewell, I go to war, this is God's will. Whoever stands in front of me, I will kill. I am Ali, son of Hussein. Of martyrdom, I am not afraid. You are the light to my vision, Akbar my son, Muhammad's reflection. You are the light to my vision, Akbar my son, Muhammad's reflection. Remove your hand, don't hide the wound, oh my son. You were my nur, now my vision has gone. Your grandfather is waiting by the pond. Now ascend towards towards the heavens. No, I will yearn for your presence. You are the light to my vision, Akbar, my son, Muhammad's reflection. We will unite in front of my mother. I'll show your wounds and the denied water. I'll show her the hands of my dear brother. I'll show her my infant asghar, how they pierced his neck with an arrow. You are the light to my vision, Akbar, my son, Muhammad's reflection. You are the light to my vision, Akbar, my son, Muhammad's reflection. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Thank you, Brother Raza. Now I'd like to call up Brother Mahdi Ghafouri, who will, on behalf of Muhibban, deliver a presentation. Please welcome him with the loudest of your salawat. Ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Hussein. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone, brothers and sisters. So, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming over the last 10 nights. This is the 11th night of Muharram now, and inshallah, tomorrow being our last night as well. So, a big thank you for everyone that's been attending the Majalis. You've had 2 previous presentations before as well, where we've been asking you to kindly, generously support the Majlis, and this will be the final one, inshallah. So please bear with me, and then following on, we'll have the Sheikh continuing on with his Majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So for those who don't know much about Muhibban, just a brief overview. Muhibban began in 1992, and it was mainly Quran lessons and Saturday classes, and to this day they are still going on as well. In mid 2005, 2006, we started our Majalis, and from then on we just continued to grow. And alhamdulillah, 2018 we've hosted many Majalis, and this being our first standalone Muharram Majlis, fully sponsored. But we do have our fair share of Iraqis, we have Iranians, so we have a very large amount of people involved in the organization, and we like to keep this alive. We like to see the different cultures coming together and growing the community. We're very open-minded and accepting, and tying into the last one as well, we like to innovate, keep things exciting, keep things interesting, especially in our majalis. You would have known, you would have seen in the last few nights, we've, especially when it comes to Azadari, we've made sure that we make it as deep and meaningful as possible. When we bring out the Taboot, when we do a little play of Ali Asghar being shot in the neck with an arrow, all of these things you don't see very often in many majalis, and this is something that we want to keep prolonging and to innovate further for your sake and our sake as well. This is all as a dari of the Ahlul Bayt, and it will invoke more emotion, and for your betterment, hopefully religiously as well, you will see a big difference. So the story of how we came here to Rushford Park started about 3 weeks before Muharram itself. We were struggling to find a venue, and alhamdulillah, we did manage to secure this place very last minute, but that's the amount of effort that we were trying to put in to make sure that this program continues. And it started, if you see the picture on the left, started as an empty hall, no carpets whatsoever. We had to source our own carpets. We had to get all this material ourselves. We set everything up within 2 nights, and alhamdulillah, with our volunteers working tirelessly, we managed to set up a hall convenient for these Muharram majalis. And like I said, all by youth. We're all students, we're all studying university, college. We take time off and come here and set up these majalis for the community, for yourselves. Alhamdulillah, the last 10 nights we've seen the population in here increase, and especially over the weekend we saw numbers reaching up to 220. So alhamdulillah, this is the majlis, the majlis of the Ahlul Bayt, Sayyidah Fatima's majlis herself, and you are all here present. This is your majlis as much as anyone else's. So this is why we're telling this message to you now. We want your support, continued support to Muhabban. The first thing being this Muharram majalis. It's costed £15,000 to set up the entire majlis, and that covers everything in terms of renting out the venue, the materials and the accommodation. Everything that you see in front of you has required financial support, and alhamdulillah, we've been doing very well. We've managed to do the majority. There is a little bit left, and we have 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow, and our target has been £15,000, as I said. We have raised a considerable amount, 13,500, and alhamdulillah, it's all come from you, the attendees, and you might not realize that we have raised this much, but subhanallah, that's the number there in front of you, and we have a very small amount remaining. So if you can raise that much in 10 nights, I'm sure we can raise the little that remains in the last 2 nights. And all it takes is 150 people within this room right now to take out £5 and give it to a volunteer, and then tomorrow to do the same, and we will cover our costs completely. And if you want to support the Muhabban in its program, then we have standing order forms, which I'm sure you've all seen by now. We've been throwing them in your faces. But those will definitely support the organization as a whole, much more than just these 10 nights. We will continue to do our programs. We will continue to bring forward events and sports, and inshallah in the next coming month we'll have our MYF Aspire program, which will be focusing on mental health and other issues that are facing the community. And if you want to get involved with that, we're always looking for people who have the skill, who have the knowledge to provide for the community. If you want to get involved with that program especially, then please see Sister Anam. She'll be at the back somewhere at the end of the majlis. But last message, please dig into your pockets, support the majlis as best as you can. The youth that want to get involved, we're always welcoming. We always want people to get involved. We want them to volunteer. We've all been through it. We've all come to the first meeting a little bit nervous, and then we realize the family that Muharram provides, and the balance it provides between education, between a working life, and then your faith and your religiosity. And inshallah, with your support, we can continue growing Muharram. We can continue these majalis and only improve year on year. And that is what we want from ourselves, and I'm sure that's what you guys would want as well. Our volunteers over the next night and tomorrow will be going around to people and asking how you have found the majlis, any feedback, anything that we can improve on, because that is more important to us than anything. We want to know why we did this, how we did this, and if it was beneficial for you especially. And if there's something that we didn't do, then please forgive us and accept our apologies for any shortcomings. And I hope you have enjoyed the majalis as much as possible. The Sheikh with his invigorating lectures and his Azadari following on as well. Jazakallah khairan. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
I just wanted to echo Brother Mehdi's sentiments and his words, and there's not really much else I can add in this penultimate night, but I do want to stress one thing, which I'm not sure if you mentioned, is that Muharram is your community. It's your organization. It's whatever you want it to be. The more you put into Muharram, the more you will get out of it. So whether it's you want to partake in the majalis, the azhar, you want to partake in sports, you want to take part in community activities, trips, we're more than happy to accommodate everyone's needs, because we are a diverse society. Everyone has different interests, different passions, and one of the beautiful things about Muharram is that we cater for all just by looking at the different types of communities we incorporate into our majalis. For example, the midnight majalis, we had an Iranian reciter, Urdu reciter, a reciter in English. So the beauty is there are no boundaries in terms of, we're all here for the same goal, and we're all here to serve one purpose and one goal, and that's what our really unique selling point is, that, we want to accommodate all and we're open to all. Salawat. Obviously, Muharram is still, I think, very much in its early foundation stages in terms of we're growing our base, we're growing our numbers, we're improving the services that we offer. And alhamdulillah, from the feedback that we've received over the last few nights, it's been one of the most successful majalis in the Northwest in terms of incorporating all aspects, which I think Mehdi mentioned in terms of having a tabut. We know that Azadari and Azhar and the passion and the importance of commemorating Muharram can sometimes be lost, especially in the English language, and it can be difficult. So one of our main focuses and focal points this Muharram has been to have a real importance in that, and have that as our main USP, have that as our main focal point, so the message isn't diluted. And so we always remember Imam Hussein, and we have the focus of his Azhar and the Azadari and the Matam right at the forefront. So that's why we encourage the Matam and the remembrance in that way. And I hope you all can appreciate that and, harbor that environment and that atmosphere that we're trying to create. And so please, in order to accommodate all this, we need your help. In order to bring the best reciters, the best speakers, to have the best services on offer, to have majalis throughout the year, not just Muharram, not just Ramadan, not just Fatimiyya. We want to commemorate everything. There is no azhar which is of less importance or greater importance than the other. We want to accommodate for every occasion, and we can't do that without your support, without your help. Salawat. And finally, I think this has been a great learning curve for Muharram over the last 10 nights. And on behalf of myself and anyone in the team, I'd like to ask for your forgiveness in terms of any shortcomings, or any mistakes that have happened, or if anything that you felt has gone wrong. Like Mehdi said, the feedback that you give us is very important. We want to continue to prosper and improve the majalis. So please, if you have any recommendations, any criticisms, bad and good, please just communicate that with myself or one of the volunteers. Some of us have worked really hard to make this majalis happen, and behind the scenes, the work that goes to make this happen is unprecedented. So I want to thank all my volunteers, my management committee, who have worked tirelessly, whether it's out on the car park when it's been raining, the people in the media team that have been uploading clips daily, providing live stream for those that you can't make it, for those of you who are watching overseas as well. We've had a number of audience overseas. The majalis has been broadcasted live on Imam Hussain TV as well nightly. So the audience isn't just limited to this room, it's truly a global, international audience. And I want to thank each and every one of my team for making that happen, for all the sisters and brothers involved in the refreshments as well, for all the tabarruk that's been sponsored as well. I want to thank each and every one of you for attending, and hopefully our azar, our contributions, our efforts are accepted by the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and I pray that our deeds and our efforts are accepted. So for all of your prosperity, for all the volunteers, if you could please recite the loudest of salawats. And I also wanted to thank Sheikh Abbas Panju, who has been a fantastic and phenomenal support for Muhibban al-Mahdi. His experience, his opinion, his recommendation, his passion, his words of wisdom which he brings to the Manchester community and especially to Muhibban are truly irreplaceable and priceless. And the support and encouragement he's given and the patience that he's had he has gone over and beyond. So in order for Sheikh Abbas Panju to continue to serve the Ahlul Bayt, for him to have continued prosperity, health, for him to continue to eclipse and hopefully spread the message of the Ahlul Bayt to the best of his ability and efforts, and as a show of gratitude, if you could also recite the loudest of salawats. And as we draw to the end of the Muharram Majalis series, please, we've only got £1,500 left, which is not a great deal. So if you could all pull together £5, £10, within a few minutes, we can collect that. So please, at the end of the Majalis, we'll have donation buckets on each entrance. If you could please spare a few pounds, it will make a considerable difference. And whatever is raised will hopefully contribute to this majalis and future majalis. And without further ado, if you could please welcome Sheikh Abbas Panju for the 11th night of his series on Imam Hussain and the philosophy of life with the loudest of salawats.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Tonight's majlis is sponsored by the family of Al-Hajj Sayyid Asad Kazmi and family. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the sake of Imam al-Hussein to reward them abundantly for sponsoring this majlis and playing a part in ensuring that the dhikr of Ahlul Bayt continues. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them and their family from every type of su and bala in the dunya as well as in the akhirah. And we pray to Allah by the sake of Ahlul Bayt that He may grant their marhumin the highest levels of Jannah. If we can honor their marhumin, the family of their marhumin and marhumat, together with all of our marhumin and marhumat, if we can honor them with the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha. Rahimallahu man qara'a Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين، باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء، حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما ولي الله الحجة ابن الحسن صاحب الأمر والزمان. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة. يا غريب الغرباء، يا مظلوم كربلاء، السلام على من جعل الله الشفاء في تربته، السلام على من الإجابة تحت قبته، السلام على ساكن كربنا. فيا ليتنا ثم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي، يا سادتي، فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون صدق الله العلي العظيم وآمنا به زينوا مجالسكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. You find that an important question every individual needs to ask himself or herself in life at one point or another: what is the purpose of my existence? And you find that it is in the best interest of man that they ask themselves these questions, or a man asks himself this question earlier in life rather than later on. At a time when, if he was or she was to look back at his or her achievements and compare it with what is lying ahead in this realm of eternity, he is encompassed with a dark cloud of regret. And regret, ahibai, is an emotion and a sentiment that can throw a person towards the pits of death faster than any other negative emotion. Because there are elements of life that you cannot reverse back. What is the purpose of the existence? What is the purpose behind my existence? Why was I created? This is an important question for every individual to ask themselves. Was the human being created just so that he may work and eat and procreate and enjoy the benefits of this life and enjoy the pleasures of his life? If so, then what is the difference between the human being and ajallakumullah, any one of the animals from within the animal kingdom? In fact, if you were to think and you were to contemplate very deeply, you would find that the quality of life that is being propagated from a philosophical perspective in the 21st century is a life that is not very different from that of the animals. You have a look, the concerns of an animal, regardless of which category it falls into within the animal kingdom. But primarily you see that for every animal, its first major concern, or one of its major concerns, is to secure food for itself. And you find that another concern of the animal is that it secures its territory and it secures for itself a place of abiding, and it procreates, and its life continues in this circle. And if you were to contemplate very deeply, you see that man is perhaps within the same field, but the ibarat, the terminologies and the kayfiyat, the know-how changes. You find that the greatest concern of man in this day and age is to ensure that he or she feeds themselves. Find that the major concern is to be able to protect or to be able to obtain a house and some form of shelter, and for a lineage to continue. And this in itself is not bad. Every one of these aspects have a level of istihbab or wujub attached to it, but this is not the only purpose of life. We were not created just to materialistically prosper in this world. Allah Azza wa Jal has created us for a purpose much more greater and much more grand than what can be perceived by the eyes and perceived by the five senses in general. For if the elevates him from the rest of the animals, then his lifestyle and the choices of his lifestyle should also be such that it distinguishes him or her from the rest of the animals. We come back to the question, what is the purpose of our existence? We need to ask this self our question so we live a life of direction. We have an aim and we have a purpose that we are moving towards. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within the Quran outlines for us the purpose of our existence. You notice that to have a purpose is something that is fitri, is almost, you can say, like a default mechanism put inside every creation, that it needs a purpose. It is moving towards a purpose. You may not recognize that purpose. That purpose in itself may be wrong, but essentially every human being is in need of a purpose. And you can see this from the daily actions that we perform. A student goes to university for a purpose. The teacher goes to the college for a purpose. Person goes to work for a purpose. No one can say that I engage upon a certain act without any purpose. There has to be a reason behind it. And similarly, when it comes to the realm of spirituality, there needs to be a purpose. What is the purpose behind our existence? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala outlines this mission statement or this purpose for us within the Quran, where He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, wa ma khalaqtul jinna wal insa illa liya'budun. The general translation of this verse is that, and Allah did not create the jinn nor the man. Subhanallah. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, and I did not create the jinn and the mankind? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. He put the word jinn before the word ins. Why? It points towards a certain reality that the creation of the jinn occurred way before the creation of mankind. And many times we delve into conversations and try to seek realities, whether there is a life that exists outside of human life, extraterrestrials, wa madri shu, and all these things that are out there. These are realities that are pointed out inside of the Quran, ya ahibai, the existence of the alam of the jinn in its entirety. And you find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Jinn outlines, and from the jinn there are those that are believers and there were those that were not from the believers. We have within our hadith that even on the day of Ashura, an entire army of the jinn descended upon Imam al-Hussein. And the commander of that army of the jinn by the name of Za'far. And he comes to Imam al-Hussein and he says, we are the ma'shar of the jinn, who are also obedient to the Imam Zaman of our times, just like the way the human beings are commanded to be obedient to the Imam of their time. And here we are, Yabna Rasulullah, with a single command, we shall annihilate the entire army of Yazid and Ibn Sa'ad. Imam al-Hussein said to him two things. This is Bain al-Qawsain, between the brackets. Imam al-Hussein said to him two things. Number one, this deen and the existence of this deen, the continuity of this deen is contingent upon my sacrifice. This is not about a materialistic worldly victory. It's about paving something much more electric and greater until the day of judgment. I won. And number two, Imam al-Hussein says to Za'far al-Jinn, if you were to include yourself with the battle. In this battle, the scales of the battle would be unfair. Allahu Akbar. Ya Abul Ahrar. This is Sayyid al-Shuhada. A man who is outnumbered in the battlefield, 72 men to 30,000. And as we said a few nights back, another narration, 100,000, if you were to take into consideration the reserve that was on standby. A man who is outnumbered in the battlefield, 72 of them to 30,000. He says to Za'faran, the jinn, that if you participate as my supporters, the war will be uneven. It will be unfair. Ajib. How? Imam al-Hussein says to Za'faran, you can see them, but they cannot see you because of your property as a jinn. In Islam, the end result is not as important as the principle in itself. Now we have a qaida, we have a rule within the principles of jurisprudence that the means does not justify the ends. The principle is muhim. Again, the principles that Imam al-Hussein spreads out. But with the jinn, there are many incidents in regards to their interactions with Ahlul Bayt. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of you the opportunity to perform the ziyarah of Amirul Mu'mineen in the dunya and to grant us the shafa'ah of Amirul Mu'mineen in the akhirah, ya Allah. But you find that even when you go to perform the ziyarah of Amirul Mu'mineen, Masjidul Kufa, you have one of the doors that is known as the door of the snake, Babu Thu'ban, in Masjidul Kufa. And it is mustahab that you enter into Masjidul Kufa through the door Babu Thu'ban. Babu Thu'ban, yani what? The door of the serpent. What is the story of the serpent? A jinn in the form of the serpent comes to Amirul Mu'mineen while he's delivering a sermon. The serpent, Ajib, has a conversation with Amirul Mu'mineen and then disappears. The people ask him, Ibn Abbas asks him, Ya Amirul Mu'mineen, what's going on over here? Amirul Mu'mineen says to him, these are my companions and my wakil, my wukala from the alam of the jinn who has come in the form of a snake to clarify masail shar'iyyah. And in another tradition, Amirul Mu'mineen says, if only mankind was to be as obedient to me as those who follow us from the jinn. In any case, our kalam being, we come back to our topic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create the jinn, and neither did I create mankind, Bani Adam, إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, except, the general translation of this word is except to worship me. But if you were to look at the grammatical structure of this verb at the end of the verse, إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, لِيَعْبُدُونَ, taken from the verb abada. The grammatical construction of this verb is that it is in its present continuous tense, لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Lam lil ghaya, for the goal. Ya'budun is where our kalam is. Present continuous tense of the verb to worship, meaning that now in the present, ulama of Arabic grammar will tell you that the verb in its present continuous tense denotes present and future, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I have not created the jinn nor the human being except that they should be in a continuous state of worship. Present tense, yani, which indicates present tense and future tense, meaning that every breath of your life, every action that you perform needs to be a form of worship, meaning that you are in a constant state of submission to Allah. The word abada or ibadah or worship is not restricted to being on a musalla. With all due respect with the musalla, doesn't mean that a person always has to be in this constant state of prayer or fast. La, this is one meaning. The word ibadah, the parameters are much more vaster than that. Every act that you perform needs to be in compliance to the rules and the regulations of Allah. For our purpose behind our existence is that we end up living a quality of life and we make decisions in life that are in compliance with the laws, the rules and the regulations of Allah Azza wa Jal, which have been taught to us through the Anbiya and through the Ahlul Bayt, in particular Rasulullah and the Ahlul Bayt. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. If we understand this, we come to our second muqaddimah or second introduction, which is how do I get myself to a state where every act in my life is in compliance with the teachings of Allah. And when we say in compliance with the teachings of Allah, yani in compliance with the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. Because there is no other path to Allah except the path of Ahlul Bayt. This is something that is established. Even your understanding of the Quran, it needs to be taken from Ahlul Bayt. Because if you take your understanding of Quran from other than Ahlul Bayt, the potential result is that you become a product of Taliban and Daesh and the false Aqidah that comes and tells you your Lord has a leg which he will put on the fire of hell on the day of judgment. For the teachings of Ahlul Bayt is the only path of salvation. Bila raybin wa bila shak. For how do we get to this stage that every action in my life is in compliance with the teachings of Ahlul Bayt? This needs discipline. This needs motivation. This needs determination. How do I get to this stage? The ulama of self-development within the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, within the school of Ahlul Bayt, will tell you that the first step towards fulfilling the purpose of your existence and living a life of compliance, the first step is to seek knowledge. And seeking knowledge, there are many branches and there are many avenues. But one important branch is to understand yourself. We have a hadith sharif whereby the Ma'soom says, Man arafa nafsah faqad arafa rabbah. The one who understands his nafs, the one who has understood his soul, his self, has understood his Lord. And the word nafs has a much more complex meaning, the difference between nafs and the ruh, and the states of the nafs and the different states of the ruh. This is something different. But if we were to take the meaning of the word nafs in its very general, simplistic meaning, yani the self. For the Imam tells us, if you understand yourself, if you know who you are, you are now beginning this journey where you are capable of understanding your Lord. And this is an important step. You find that within the field of management, you will see that there is a very famous theory which perhaps all corporations or companies use in order to establish themselves in success or with success, a theory known as SWOT theory, which is a very famous, probably practiced and taught principle, the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So every company that is operating within a certain industry needs to sit down. Their board of management sits down and they analyze these 4 dimensions to ensure their profitability and their success. The first one, as a company, as an individual, what are you? As a company or a corporation, what is your strength? Is it in the product? What is your, the way Sayyid Rida just now said, unique selling point, USP? Oh, what is your strength? What distinguishes you from others? Here, Sayyid Rida. Number two, weakness. What is your weakness? How many competitors are in that field providing the same service or the same product as you? What are your opportunities for growth in that market, and what are your threats in terms of the strength of your competition? Now, I don't want to make this Majlis Husseini into a dars on business management, but you find that these principles of self-evaluation in Aslan, in reality, their roots come back to Islam. Because when you come back to the field of self-development within Islam, you find that these four aspects are absolutely important in order for you to know who you are. You cannot be successful, and neither can you serve the deen if you don't know who you really are inside. What is your own reality, your own nafs? Look into yourself and speak with your conscience. And you find that these four principles that are in essence taught by Ahlul Bayt, strength. I need to ask myself as an individual, what is my strength? You find that with self-contemplation, your answer leads you to Allah Azza wa Jal, the creator of the universe, is your strength. So long as you are connected to Him, and so long as you are obedient to Him, there is not a single challenge under the sun that you cannot face and overtake. Because the one who you seek support from is the one who brought everything into existence. It's your strength that you are a muwahid, you are a monotheist, and profess belief in one God. La ilaha illallah. High one. Weakness. What are my weaknesses? Ani as an individual. And nobody can help you identify your strength or your weakness. They can maybe point you in a certain direction, but nobody knows you better than you. What Ani as an individual? Muhammad Abbas, what are my weaknesses? Is it jealousy? Lack of self-confidence, lack of motivation, hasad, ghiba, namima, the faults that are inside of me that lead towards my self-destruction. I need to be aware of my own spiritual weaknesses. Strength, weakness, opportunity. Opportunity to succeed in life and in the akhirah. Where can I find this avenue of opportunity? And this is where the Majalis Husseini come in. Your opportunity to lead a life of perfection, your opportunity to make or convert your weaknesses into strengths happen inside of these Majalis Imam al-Hussein, which we will give maybe 3 or 4 examples depending on the time. Opportunity. The last one, threat. For your self-development, what hinders you to reach perfection? What hinders you from living a life where you have actually fulfilled the purpose of your existence? Shaitan. Innahu lakum aduwwum mubin. This is that enemy of yours, the biggest threat mankind faces, leading him towards destruction. And if I was to give you a khulasa of shaitan, because this is an enemy that is ajib, an enemy who has got, mashallah, a master CV when it comes to misguiding people. Nobody is more qualified than shaitan when it comes to misguidance. More than that, nobody has more iman than shaitan. Ajib. I say, Shaykhana, what is this kalam? Have you ever seen within the Quran that shaitan, or in the hadith that shaitan negates the oneness of Allah? La. Shaitan has shak that Allah exists? La. But shaitan will put the shak in you whether Allah is one or not, whether Allah exists or not. He himself believes in Allah, but will plant the opposite shak in you. Is there any doubt? Shaitan knows the azama of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. There is no doubt in that. But he will put the shak in you in regards to the azama of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Shaitan was there because we have within our hadith the reason that the malaika were commanded to do sajda to Adam was because the nur of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad was placed in the back of Nabi Adam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. For Iblis, shaitan knows the adama of Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. But he'll put the shak within you people, within us. Shakkiku, the doubts in their fada'il, the doubts in their madlumiyat, the doubts in their superiority and everything under the sun. And there is a hadith mufassala. We didn't get a chance. If next time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you tawfiq, hadith that speak on shaitan's strategy, particularly in regards to Ashura. There is an entire incident that happened with shaitan. Just like there was a particular incident that happened with shaitan on the day of Ghadir when Rasulullah made an announcement. And there was a particular incident with shaitan on the day of Saqifa. How shaitan works, how your enemy operates. We need to understand this. We don't understand. This enemy that Allah says in the Quran, Aduwwun Mubin. What do I know about him? How do I protect myself against him? Muhim. So if we understand this, that we need this element of self-reflection to see and to analyze what our strength, our weaknesses are, what is the point of our salvation, we move to a conclusion. And that conclusion is that man is created of two, you could say, components or two elements. Your creation. Understand yourself. Man is created of body and soul. The badan, and then you have the ruh. The relationship between the body and the soul is extremely complex and at the same time mesmerizing. There are elements of commonality and there are elements of difference. If we were to say just now yourself, your ruh, again for simplistic reasons, this conscience inside of you that speaks to you, this voice inside of you, the essence of your existence. The body and the soul, there is a relationship between them in that the body is nothing more than a vehicle or a tool or a carrier through which you worship Allah. It is a means to an end, and your soul is confined within the constricts of this body. The body being temporary and the soul whose existence continues beyond this, which is why maut or death, by definition, is the process of the separation of the body from the soul. And you have that in the initial moments of death. The soul looks at its own body from a third person lens. You know how you can see yourself in a dream? It's the same thing, but this is a reality. Which is why the hadith mentioned that when a person passes away, be very gentle in the way you give them their ghusl. When you turn their body, turn it very carefully, because the soul can sense the sensitivity, can feel the sensitivity and is alert. The hadith tells you, do not give ghusl mayyat with water that is extremely hot. Why? Because the soul can feel this. Yes, it is separated from the body, but there is still a lingering connection. Hadith goes on to tell us when you recite Salatul Mayyit, and that janaza, the dead body, the bier or the coffin is placed in front of you and you're reciting that Salatul Mayyit, the soul is lingering over the tabut. And when you eventually take the dead person, the deceased, to the graveyard, you find the sixth Imam tells us that it is extremely mustahab in 3 places. You put down the coffin. Don't rush the coffin to bury it into the grave. They call it manzil. 3 times you put it down. Why? To allow the soul to acclimatize to the reality of this new realm of existence that it is now going into. Sometimes it's terrified. In front is the qabr and the adab of the qabr, and the ruh knows that this is what is heading to. And on the other hand, the ruh of the mu'min. A person is only fearful of death because he is fearful of the unknown. Inta Shi'i, Muwali, lover of Imam al-Hussein, lover of Amir al-Mu'mineen, death should not and cannot scare you. Even if you are a sinner, and we're not justifying sins over here, but built on your love for Ahlul Bayt, you should not be scared or be frightened by death. Do you know why? Hadith al-Sharif in Kitab al-Kafi by Imam al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. He states that for the lover of Ahlul Bayt, death is a time of comfort. We said death by definition is the separation of the soul from the body. During this time, you will see, may Allah grant all of you and your family members a long and a healthy life. But if you have ever witnessed somebody passing away, or heard from somebody who has witnessed another person passing away, they say that majority of the times when a person is passing away or about to pass away, when his ruh is about to leave the body, there are tears that start to come down the eye. The Imam was asked why. Inta Shi'i Muwali Muhib. Don't be scared of death and Malakul Maut. Imam al-Sadiq gives us this bishara. And he says, when he was asked why they cry, Imam Sadiq says there are 2 types of people. For the one who is our lover, he didn't say our believer and our Shia because there are darajat. There is a Shia and there is a Muwali and there is a Mutabi and there is a Muhib. And each one has his own level of ma'rifah. Imam says the one who has our love at the moment of death, when Malakul Maut is about to separate the soul from the body, because of your love for Ahlul Bayt, the Imam says, at that moment the believer in Ahlul Bayt shall see Amirul Mu'mineen in front of him. Enter when you go for ziyarah, you look at the haram of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen. You look at the kubba of Amirul Mu'mineen and we get mesmerized. We look at the dhari of Amirul Mu'mineen, we get mesmerized. We hear the name Ali and we become mesmerized. What will happen to the Shia when they see the actual blessed face of Amirul Mu'mineen at that time? He smiles. And his ruh leaves his body just like the way, in a pleasurable manner, like when you smell a rose. You who have spent your lives serving Amirul Mu'mineen, believing in Amirul Mu'mineen, Amirul Mu'mineen will not leave you. But hadith, I tell you something a'jab and aghrab. Today, subhanallah, Qadar and Qada, what we had planned to recite has been put on the side, and majority of the lecture has gone in the footnotes and in the diversions. Khair. We have a hadith al-sharif that talks about Alam al-Barzakh in Kitab al-Bihar. Imam al-Baqir salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi says, الذي يلي الحساب قبل يوم القيامة هو Hussein ibn Ali, meaning that in the barzakh, alamul barzakh, before the day of judgment, the one who is in charge of the accountability of the people in the grave is none other than Hussein ibn Ali. Imam al-Hussein has a sultan, has a kingdom in alam al-barzakh, given to him by Allah, lest somebody accuses us of shirk. Given to him by Allah. Finished. Mulkiyat is from Allah. This is what Allah has given Imam al-Hussein. One of the ulama, rahmatullah alayhi, who passed away from Najaf al-Ashraf, his son sees him in a dream. And you know, with the dreams, there are categories, ru'ya sadiqa and ru'ya kadiba. Yes, a dream cannot be used for istinbat of a hukum shar'i, but it has a level of i'tibar. As per our ulama, ru'ya sadiqa. This alim who has passed away, his son who is also an alim, he says to him, Baba, how did you find the alamul barzakh and how did you find Laylatul Wahsha, the most difficult night in the grave? How did you find this time? Mujtahid, alim din, marja. He says to his son, oh my son, when you are laid into the grave and your family members leave you and Munkar and Nakir come for the questioning, he says, at that moment I realized that this alamul barzakh is an entire kingdom and a realm of existence. The king of that existence is Hussein, and the currency in that kingdom is service to Hussein. He says, when I was laid into the grave, the malaika came with my scroll of deeds. He says, and I looked through my scroll of deeds, and I looked and I looked and I looked, and the rewards kept coming in. He said, Baba, where were the rewards? He said, every time we beat our chest, we were recorded thawab for that. Inta janabak, can you count how many times you hit your chest on a matam? You and I maybe don't pay attention to this, but anything done in the name of Imam al-Hussein, for Imam al-Hussein does not let that go. Al-jaza'u al-ihsan illa li-ihsan. We need to value this service to Ahlul Bayt. In any case, our kalam being the body is made of, or the human being, our existence is combined of two, the body and the soul, the body being temporary and the soul living much after. The soul's existence continues. And the body is a vehicle or a tool through which we are able to worship Allah. The relationship between the body and the soul is that many things that are applicable on the body are applicable on the soul to one extent, like the way your body needs nurturing. Your body needs nutrition. A body that is not fed is a body that is weak and prone to disease. So just like the way the body is in need of food, ahibai, the soul is also in need of food. And this food is knowledge. This food is ad'iyah, supplications and dua. Tomorrow's lecture is on the etiquette and philosophy of ad'iyah. The soul needs nutrition. We ask ourselves and we say many times that we feel our spirituality goes through a number of waves. It's very, very volatile. Sometimes in season, like as we say, Muharram and Arba'in and Ramadan, we feel at the peak of our spirituality, and the rest of the months we dip. Why? Because that consistency of feeding the soul and nurturing the soul lacks. Just like a body. When you eat well and you eat healthy, you feel good, you think well, You are more productive because the nutrition for the body is correct. The same thing when it comes to Ashura and Ramadan. You are feeding your soul the right type of spirituality, which is why spiritually you are at a high. The minute that stops in Jamad al-Awwal, Jamad al-Thani, Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Thani, waiting until MashaAllah, to deprive the soul of nutrition at that time is a form of death. Just like the way I cannot say that I will only eat good foods or manage my carb intakes in January, February, and ya Allah the rest of the month. Doesn't work. The same thing with the ruh. One. Number two, the type of food that you eat is important. The type of food. The first point is that it is important for the body to have nutrition, and similarly the soul. The second thing is the type of nutrition, the type of food that you put into your body is also important. Similarly with the ruh, the type of ilm, the source of the ilm that you get in order to nurture your ruh is also important. Enta janabak, if you were to drink water from a dirty, contaminated stream, what happens? Body falls sick. The same thing when it comes to deen. If you take the teachings of your deen from a stream of knowledge that is contaminated, polluted, you're destined to damnation. And hence, even when you're looking to nourish your ruh and your soul, the point of return is Ahlul Bayt, this house of Isma and Tahara. Tahara, purity. You cannot harm your soul through polluted information if you are taking it back from Ahlul Bayt. And therefore it's important that we understand these aspects of our own selves, our own existence. I am made up of a body and a soul. And this soul, its existence will continue after the body. And this soul needs nutrition. And this nutrition is ilm. I need to understand myself, number one, by understanding my weaknesses inside. Zahiran, our time is already finished for the lecture. Otherwise, we would have used points from Karbala. I'll use 1 point. So this is a motivation for us to go forward. Or 2 points, inshallah. We've got a habit of going over time. Khair, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. But today is Friday. There's no school tomorrow. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Jayid, so I'm not going to cut anything out. We continue with the lecture as was. 4 points of motivation from Karbala, Ikhwani. When it comes to self-development of the ruh and self-development of yourself, if you recognize what your weaknesses are and you recognize that you have a ruh whose existence continues much after your body, you realize that when it comes to self-development, there is no greater inspiration than Karbala. For every type of ailment and every type of disease, be it spiritual, be it social, the cure and the inspiration is Karbala. I'll give you from here 3 or 4 examples. The first one, we live at a time where the Muslims, or in particular the Shia, are overcome with a sense of inferiority complex when it comes to openly practicing the religion. Inferiority complex. Or if I come out in a full hijab, I will not be accepted by the wider community. The children who are here, if I don't listen to a certain type of music, my friends will not accept me. I will not be part of this wider friend circle. I will not be from amongst the cool people. If I don't use this waterproof mascara, I can't fit into that clique of girls who are the most popular girls, for example. all these pressures that come in, where a person feels uncomfortable to practice their faith, because if they were to practice the faith, they stand out from the rest of the crowd. And hence this creates within a person a sense of inferiority complex. Because of this inferiority complex, we open the door to compromising our faith. If I wear or I dress in the way of Ahlul Bayt, the wider society will not accept me. If I go to work, honey, I'm corporate. If I shake hands or refuse to shake hands with an mahram, I will not progress in my job. There's a sense of uncomfortableness inside. I cannot practice my religion because of social pressures. So I don't have that confidence to openly practice my religion. Where do I get this inspiration from? Get the inspiration from Karbala. Never feel that you are a minority in your faith, or that you will be an outcast from society just because you are different. The proof is Karbala. 72 men who were seen as outcasts in their communities. Do you know what it meant at that time to say Hussein ibn Ali is your master? Not only were you ostracized from the community, not only were they killed as we see in Karbala, but even before that, Habib ibn Madahir was made into a black sheep in his tribe of Bani Asad because of his loyalty to Muslim bin Aqil. And standing up in the revolution, Bani Asad came to him and they said, Yabe, you are, they didn't say Yabe, but they said to him, what do you, Habib? You are putting the position of Bani Asad in a difficult, you're putting Bani Asad in a difficult position by retaliating and being the odd one out, standing up in revolution against Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Be like everybody else and give the bay'ah and move on. Habib was different. He liberated his nafs. Liberation of the soul. You are free men and you are free women, not dictated by social pressure. You live your life the way you want, and that choice is that you live your life as per the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, even if the world was against you. So what if you lost a couple of friends? So what if the wider community didn't accept you? That wider community only looks for the betterment of their body, but you understand that your existence is not limited to your body. You have a ruh and you have a journey into eternity that these people will contribute to nothing towards. For let their opinion be their opinion. So if you ever feel intimidated of practicing your faith because you are a minority, don't look any further than Karbala. 72 men who are the minority of all minorities. Yet today, history has written their name in eternity. This inspiration and this courage to be different, if you live in a community of non-practicing people, it comes from Imam al-Hussein. And they don't care. They practice. فَلْيَكُنْ. Dunya is temporary. You are a free man. Remember that. Never live within the constraints of societal pressure. Basai shart. You know that you are on the path of Ahlul Bayt. One, we are able to cure this lack of self-confidence and fear of being a minority just by looking at the numbers that fought on Karbala. One. Number two, Ikhwani akhlaq. If we come back to the initial stages of weakness and I am analyzing my soul, what are my weaknesses, spiritual and otherwise? If I suffer from hasad and I suffer from ghiba and namima and all these things, lack of clemency, lack of just to be able to forgive somebody, akhlaq is absolutely important. In fact, akhlaq is the basis on which all other ilm is built. Because even if you are a faqih and have knowledge in furu'ud-din, but if you don't have that akhlaq, then the essence of that furu'ud-din is lost. A person can be an alim, can have information, but information is converted into knowledge when a person has akhlaq. How to behave. You have a dispute with another brother, you have a dispute with another sister, personal disputes for a reason for which no side wants to forgive each other. Look at Karbala. Hur bin Yazid al-Riyahi on the day of Ashura came to seek forgiveness of Imam al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein would have turned around, leave aside the issue of haq and batil ideologically, leave that on the side. Imam al-Hussein could have said him on a personal basis, Ya Hur, because of you I was forced to come to Karbala. Because of you my children are thirsty for 3 days. Because of you I have been placed under siege. Everything because of you, Hur. It was Hur who diverted him to Karbala from Kufa. Yet on the day of Ashura, when Hur comes to Imam al-Hussein to seek forgiveness, the narrations mention Imam al-Hussein didn't even allow him to complete his sentence, lest Hur feels ashamed, accepted his tawbah. Akhlaq. Serving the religion is important, but more important than that is to have the right akhlaq, moral code of conduct and behavior. Humbleness is a big thing. Person can reach great heights and achievements, be it in the world of religion or be it in the world of academia and outside of in the workplace. This should not take away his humbleness. Marja Taqleed from our Maraj, a grand scholar by the name of Muqaddas al-Ardabili, rahmatullah alayh. And you have all probably heard of Muqaddas al-Ardabili, buried by the grave of Amir al-Mu'mineen. At the doorstep of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he has got his own ghurfa, his own chamber, khas, with his grave. Muqaddas al-Ardabili rahmatullah alayh, marja taqleed of his time, living in Najaf al-Ashraf. And back in the day when people used to go for ziyarah to Najaf, there wasn't mawkibs and hotels and the luxuries that we have now. Sarahatan, these are luxuries. You know, wallahi al-azim, even if you go for ziyarah and you go with a group where you end up with a toilet tile that is broken or this and that, trust me, believe me, there is no reason to complain. People who had to go for the same ziyarah that we are going to years back, they had to worry. Have we written our wasiyah or not written our wasiyah? Now our only delays is our flight on time or not. Does the room have a western toilet or eastern toilet? Sahih lola. These are our concerns. Look at the subhanallah. At the end, every day, everybody's a zair of Imam al-Hussein. So we don't condemn any one of them. We're just saying that, subhanallah, look at the concerns and the patterns that come to ziyarah. And there is thawab. Every difficulty that you face, there is thawab. Take it with a smile. This is not a reason for the leaders of the groups to slack. I know Haji Tathir is in the majlis. So, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Tayyib, at that time there were no mawkibs, no hotels, walashi. So the people who used to come for ziyarah to Amir al-Mu'mineen, they would end up sleeping in the sahan, or they would sleep in some of the surrounding rooms that were around the courtyard of the haram of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And things were very difficult. Having your laundry done, getting your food, people would travel with their own supplies. And so it was known that whenever a person would come for ziyarah, there would be certain outlets, people's family, households that are there to help. This one brings the water, this one brings the food, this one helps get the laundry done, so on and so forth. So in this environment, one day, Ayatullah Udhma, the face pioneer of Tashayyu, Muqaddas al-Ardabili, is going to the haram of Amir al-Mu'mineen, resident of Najaf, going to do his ziyarah. He comes across this zair, Zair is from out of town, out of Najaf, doesn't know who is Muqaddas Ardabili or anything. He goes to him and he sees there's a person, looks pious and his face is Nurani, walking with Haiba and the Waqar. He's got this element to him of religiosity and spirituality emanating from him. So the Zair went to him and he said, Shaykhuna, I have a question for you. He doesn't know who is Muqaddas Ardabili. Muqaddas Ardabili says, yes, please, Faddal. He says, I need to get my clothes washed. I'm a Zair of Amir al-Mu'minin. I need to have my clothes washed. Muqaddas Ardabili tells him, give me the clothes and you meet me over here tomorrow, same time, and I will return the clothes back to you. That time, Najaf was a time of Aman. The old Shias, people trusted in each other and they get along really well at that time. So the person was, alhamdulillah, found somebody, gave Muqaddas Ardabili the clothes and went back. The next day, he comes back at the place that they agreed upon, at the time that they agreed upon. He sees Muqaddas Ardabili waiting for him with the clothes washed and ironed. He gives it to him. The Zair says, thank you very much. How much do I owe you for the service of washing the clothes? Muqaddas Ardabili says to him, you are the Zair of Amir al-Mu'minin? He said, yes. He said, I will take my reward from the one who you have come to do the ziyarah of. You don't worry, mine and his account is different. He said, thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. Yalla, salamun alaikum, salamun alaikum. They leave. The next day, the Zair comes to the Sahan of Amir al-Mu'minin to recite the salat or to perform the ziyarah. He comes to perform the ziyarah. He says, Ajib, this Muqaddas Ardabili is sitting in the Sahan on the mimbar teaching the dars of Hawza and hundreds of students sitting around him. This person said, is this the guy who I sent yesterday to wash my clothes, or is somebody who looks like him? So they went and he asked one of the students who's teaching Ba'thul Kharij, the highest level within the Hawza, Marjat Taqleed. He went and said, who is that person? This Talabi asked him, why do you want to know? He says, I think because this guy is the guy who did my laundry yesterday. Ajib. The Talabi took him to Muqaddas al-Ardabili. He said, Ya Sheikh, are you the same one who I gave you the clothes to yesterday? Muqaddas Ardabili smiled and walked away. Marjat Taqleed, who has reached such a level of humbleness that when he was not recognized who he is, a person comes, gives him his dirty clothes. Muqaddas Ardabili does the laundry for him without even mentioning anything to him. Honey, I think I've recited 1-2 majlis. Try and tell me, do my laundry for me. Humbleness in life is very important, regardless of what achievements we make and what landmarks we reach. These are things that akhlaq, within akhlaq. Khwani, there is a book which I advise myself and every one of you mu'minin mu'minat. Jami'us Sa'adat. The title of the book, Jami'us Sa'adat, which is also available in English, I believe, authored by Alama Naraki, rahmatullah alayh, if I'm not mistaken, almost 200 years ago. So a masterclass in the book of akhlaq. You look at this book of akhlaq, you look at the chapters that are mentioned within this book of negative traits that a person must look into in order to refine himself, move and travel on this journey of self-development until he reaches this goal of the purpose of his existence. And every step of the way, Imam al-Hussein and Karbala is that motivation and that inspiration, whether it is from akhlaq, learning how to forgive, Imam al-Hussein, inferiority complex, Imam al-Hussein, determination, sometimes we're just not determined enough to go forward. Do you know, when we recite in the Masa'ib, when they struck the right arm of Abul Fadil, do you know what he recited? Recited poetry, and you heard all of this, you know this from the Masa'ib. He said, In qata'tumu yamini fa inni uhami abadan an dini. Even if you cut my right hand, I will continue to protect my religion. Yani, this is Abul Fadil. When he recites, and Abul Fadil, ma'soom, You know, we have two types of isma, ismatul kubra and ismatul sughra. For you have Abu al-Fadil within this rank of isma. There's a reason why he chose to say these words at that time. Even if you cut my right hand, فَإِنِّي أُحَامِي أَبَدًا عَنْ دِينِي. He's trying to tell the enemies, don't think because you have cut my right arm that I might waver from protecting my imam and my deen. The fact that you have cut my right arm, I am telling you now that I am even more determined and will continue to serve my deen and protect my deen. فَإِنِّي أُحَامِي أَبَدًا عَنْ دِينِي. Abadan, forever. Even by you severing my right arm, you cannot intimidate me. You cannot break my determination. These are lessons that we take from the life of the warriors and champions of Karbala. And we nurture this within ourselves as well. A person just needs one thing, niyyah. Make the niyyah that I am going to better myself. Make down this list of weaknesses or spiritual defects that I have, diseases that I have. Start working on them one by one with the barakat of Imam al-Hussein. May Allah grant to each and every one of us the tawfiq to ascend through the ranks of spirituality and lead the life of perfection with the barakat of salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Masa'ib, ikhwani, akhawati. 11th of Muharram, it was a day like this, that the women of Ahlul Bayt were taken away from Karbala as prisoners towards Kufa. And these are tough times. Today was a day, the day that passed was a day of great grief. The daughter of Amirul Mu'mineen, the princess of Bani Hashim, is taken as a slave. The narrations mention that on the 11th of Muharram, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad gathered his army and commanded them to collect all the bodies of the enemies who were killed in battle. He then commanded for a grave to be dug for them and for Salatul Mayyit to be prayed over them. Allah, the enemies of Imam al-Hussein, the enemies of Ahlul Bayt get a coffin and they are buried while the bodies of the grandson of Rasulullah are left on the plains of Karbala without a ghusl and a coffin. Ajib, this dunya. The narrations mention that Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad recited the salat over them. At the time of Zawwal, they made the decision to go back towards Kufa. They were to gather all the women as prisoners and the remaining children and Imam as-Sajjad, taking them towards Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. The historians mention that the severed head of Imam al-Hussein was already sent to Kufa on the same evening of Ashura by Shimr al-La'in. When all the women Zainab saw the body of Imam al-Hussein. Allahu Akbar, this is Zainab, This is Zainab. She sees the body of Imam al-Hussein. In which manner? Number one, a body without a head. Allah. Number two, a body that has been broken and mangled to pieces because it has been trampled upon by horses. Allahu Akbar. When Zainab was brought to the body of Imam al-Hussein, Zainab fell down on the plains of Karbala. There are only two individuals who fell down in a certain way. The first one to fall was Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Allah. I want to show you that Sayyidah Zainab fell down on the 11th of Muharram in the same way that Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas fell down. Allah, Allah, Ya Shia. When Abu al-Fadl fell down, he fell down face first. Why? Because both his arms were cut, so nothing to break the fall. Zainab on the 11th of Muharram, when she saw the headless and the mangled body of Hussein, she also fell face first. I said, why? Because her hands were tied behind her back. So when she threw herself off the camel, Zainab fell face first. Ya Zainab! She throws herself on the body of Imam al-Hussein. She looks up towards the heavens. She cries out. Who does she remember at this time? She cried out. She said, Wa Muhammadah! Oh my grandfather, oh Rasulallah, oh Muhammadah, هذا حسين مرمل بالدماء. This is your Hussein covered in blood. مقطع الأعضاء. This is your Hussein cut into pieces. وبناتك سبايا. Oh Muhammad, your daughters are taken prisoner. May you reward me with Sayyidat Zahra for participating and crying for Zainab. This is the night to give pursa, to give condolences to the women of Ahlul Bayt. The narration mentions the last part and the Masa'ib is over. The narrations mention that when all the women were taken around the body of Imam al-Hussein, one of his daughters by the name of Sukaina, she threw herself on the body of Imam al-Hussein. She says, I threw myself on the chest of Imam al-Hussein, hugging him and crying and kissing. Sayyidah Sukaina says, and over here there are two masa'ib. Number one, there was a message from Imam al-Hussein. And this was a message of Imam al-Hussein to all the Shias, to every one of you. Imam al-Hussein has given a message on a day like this, 11th Muharram. Sayyidah Sukaina says, when I threw myself on the body of Imam al-Hussein, I heard a voice from the manhar. She says, I heard a voice from the manhar. Allah, ya Shia, I don't know if you have strength to listen to this. Do you know what is the manhar? The manhar is that part of the neck that was severed from the rest of the body. Sayyidah Sukaina says, I heard a voice from the manhar. She said, Imam al-Hussein, my father spoke to me. He said, oh Sukaina, give my salams to my Shia. Ya Abu Abdullah, in this majlis, with our tears, we say, alayka salam. Mazloom Imam, what message did he want to give to the Shias? He says to Sukaina, say to my Shias, Ya Shi'ati, Mahma sharibtum udhba ma'in fadhkuruni. Whenever you drink cold water, remember me. Akhir kalam and Masa'ib is over. We have the women on the body of Imam al-Hussein. They don't want to leave Karbala. How can they leave Karbala when the body of the grandson of Rasulullah is left like this on the plains? Umar ibn Sa'ad wants to gather the women. They want to go to Kufa. The women don't want to leave the body of Imam al-Hussein. So how do you separate the bodies of Imam al-Hussein from the women? How do you separate the women from the body? The Maktal mentions Umar ibn Sa'ad came. He began to whip the women one by one. Hit them until they leave the body of Hussein. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Mata mein Hussein, mata mein Zainab, mata mein Sukaina.
پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب 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 کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صحب رضا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صحب رضا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب کہ لاکھ جتن میں نے فضا کہے عابد سے کہ لاکھ جتن میں نے فضا کہے عابد سے ہوتی نہیں بھائی کے ہوتی نہیں بھائی کے لاشے سے جدا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صحب رضا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب کہ لاکھ جتن میں نے فضا کہے عابد سے کہ لاکھ جتن میں نے فضا کہے عابد سے ہوتی نہیں بھائی کے ہوتی نہیں بھائی کے لاشے سے جدا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صحب رضا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب ہائے شام غریب کے جلتے ہوئے خیموں سے ہائے شام غریب کے ہائے شام غریبا کے جلتے ہوئے خیموں سے، ہائے شام غریبا کے جلتے ہوئے خیموں سے، ان زخمی کاندھوں پہ، ان زخمی کاندھوں پہ عابد کو اٹھا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب، کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں، کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صاحب ردا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب، مقتل سے صدا آئی معصومہ کے دامن کو، مقتل سے صدا آئی معصومہ کے دامن کو، ہے آگ لگی کب سے، ہے آگ لگی کب سے جلدی سے بجھا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب، کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں، کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صاحب ردا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب، مقتل سے صدا آئی معصومہ کے دامن کو، مقتل سے صدا آئی معصومہ کے دامن کو، ہے آگ لگی کب سے، ہے آگ لگی کب سے جلدی سے بجھا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب، کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں، کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صاحب ردا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب، اصغر بھی تیرا باہر شبیر گئے جس کو، شبیر گئے جس کو مقتل میں صلح زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب، پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب سنگ نیز کے آیا ہے اصغر بھی تیرا باہر سنگ نیز کے آیا ہے اصغر بھی تیرا باہر شبیر گئے جس کو شبیر گئے جس کو مقتل میں سلا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صاحب ردا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب سنگ نیز کے آیا ہے اصغر بھی تیرا باہر سنگ نیز کے آیا ہے اصغر بھی تیرا باہر شبیر گئے جس کو شبیر گئے جس کو مقتل میں سلا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب گھبراؤ نہ تم غازی زندہ ہے علی زادی گھبراؤ نہ تم غازی زندہ ہے علی زادی دے سکتی ہے لاشوں پہ دے سکتی ہے لاشوں پہ پہرے تنہا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا 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 زینب کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں کیونکہ نہ رہی لوگوں اب صاحب ردا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا پردیس میں مرنے کی کیے لاکھ جتن میں نے فضا کہے عابد سے کیے لاکھ جتن میں نے فضا کہے عابد سے ہوتی نہیں بھائی کے ہوتی نہیں بھائی کے لاشے سے جدا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب پردیس میں مرنے کی کرتی ہے دعا زینب آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں عابد بچاواں یا اگ بجاواں عابد بچاواں یا اگ بجاواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں یوسف تو سونے میرے ویر مارے میں شام چلیا بے کفن سارے یوسف تو سونے میرے ویر مارے میں شام چلیا بے کفن سارے قبراں بڑھاواں یا رسیاں پاواں قبراں بڑھاواں یا رسیاں پاواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں عابد بچاواں یا اگ بجاواں عابد بچاواں یا اگ بجاواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں یوسف تو سونے میرے ویر مارے میں شام چلیا بے کفن سارے یوسف تو سونے میرے ویر مارے میں شام چلیا بے کفن سارے قبراں بڑھاواں یا رسیاں پاواں قبراں بڑھاواں یا رسیاں پاواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں عابد بچاواں یا اگ بجاواں عابد بچاواں یا اگ بجاواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں میرا گھر جلایا لٹیاں رداواں رو آکھے زینب کس پاسے جاواں جس ویر دے لئی چڑھیا مدینہ جویں قتل ہویا بھلنا کدی نہ لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا عابد بچاوا یا اگ بجاوا عابد بچاوا یا اگ بجاوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا جس ویر دے لئی چڑھیا مدینہ جب قتل ہویا بھولنا کدینا جس ویر دے لئی چڑھیا مدینہ جب قتل ہویا بھولنا کدینا ان کفن پاوا یا شام جاوا ان کفن پاوا یا شام جاوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے داوا رو آنکھیں زینب کس پاس جاوا میرا گھر جلایا لٹیا رے محمد
Brothers and sisters, before we recite the ziyarah, there's a request for the mu'mina lady who donated the flag. If we are able to raise our hands in dua and pray for her well-being and for the well-being of her family members and all our mu'mineen and mu'minat who are not in the best of health, raising your hands in dua, the ayat of shifa. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. عما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 اللهم إنا نسألك بحق أهل بيت النبوة وباسمك الأعظم يا الله يا الله يا الله. If we can also recite Surah Al-Fatiha in honor of the marhumin and marhumat of this family and all marhumin marhumat. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. As well, brothers and sisters, we have one of our Nawha Khan, servants of Imam al-Hussein, And unfortunately, he's suffered with a heart attack. We keep him in our du'as, inshallah. And by the sake of Imam al-Hussein, may he be granted recovery in the fastest of times, inshallah. All of this with the barakat of Allah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا خاتم الأنبياء، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب قسيم النار والجنة، السلام عليك يا مولاتي يا سيدة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا سيدة خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين حقا، السلام عليك يا إمام حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا مولانا يا أبا عبد الله الحسين المظلوم المقتول بأرض كربلاء، السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، السلام عليكن يا سبايا أهل بيت النبوة لا سيما سيدة زينب الكبرى، السلام عليكن جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا أئمة الحداة وولاة أمر الله، إمام علي بن الحسين زين العابدين، وإمام محمد بن علي الباكر، وإمام جعفر بن محمد الصادق، وإمام موسى بن جعفر الكاظم، وإمام علي بن موسى الرضا، وإمام محمد بن علي الجواد، وإمام علي بن محمد الهادي، والإمام حسن بن علي العسكري. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا قائم الحجة المنتظر المهدي صاحب الأمر والزمان، اللهم عجل لولينا الفرج واجعلنا من أنصاره واجعلنا من أشيائه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه، اللهم بحقه اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. يا مدبر الأمور يا باعث من في القبور يا مجري البهور يا ملين الحديد لداود صل على محمد وآل محمد وفعل بنا ما أنت أهل في الدين والدنيا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. We have two cars that are blocking other cars. One's a Mercedes KV09ZGU. KV09ZGU, it's a Mercedes. The second car is a Toyota ML53TPZ. ML53TPZ. Please, if we can get you guys to move your cars, that would be much appreciated. Jazakallah. Thank you.